The peaceful beauty of the Alabama River in Montgomery is undeniable, but so is its place in a brutal history.
So the narrative will begin on this boat.
Absolutely. Being sold down the river, being trafficked by boat or by rail was an absolutely terrifying experience for enslaved people.
The Alabama River was the primary way in which enslaved people were trafficked to the Deep South during the 19th century. Many slaves were sold through the city of Montgomery's slave depots.
And the boats and the rail lines were critical to that mass movement. But people would be brought here, sold, and then taken to Lowndes County and Wilcox County and Marengo County and counties throughout this region that have some of the largest populations of enslaved people, but also still have some of the largest populations of black people today.
Brian Stevenson is the founder and CEO of the Equal Justice Initiative, which created the Freedom Monument Sculpture Park on these shores where the slave trade once flourished.
There's not much in the visual record of that era that helps you get a sense of the humanity of these people, but artists have done an amazing job.
Their work, part of a 17-acre memorial honoring the lives of the 10 million black people who were enslaved in America.
And so we see these sculptures. I mean, tell the sculptures together tell the story.
Yes, that's right. These are intended to just help put what happens on this continent in a broader context, because of course, you know, slavery has existed in the world since human existence, and there's always been forms of kind of human bondage. It's one of the worst kinds of human rights abuses.
Sculptures and replicas help weave the story from the places they were held.
They would put them in holding pens where they would wait until the auction. And this is a replica of a holding pen. And you could have 20, 25 people in a space like this, sometimes for, you know, weeks.
20, 25 people.
20, 25 people for weeks waiting to be sold. And here's the cruel pain of that. You'd have 20, 25 people crammed in a place like this, very little food, but the last thing you wanted to do would be to leave this space. Because when you left this space, you were going to be sold away.
Once sold, slaves were housed in separate quarters.
We wanted to have a space where visitors could really experience the life of enslaved people. I was really pleased that we were able to find actual dwellings where enslaved people lived that were built 175 years ago.
This is an authentic
This was
dwelling.
built in 1852. Yeah. And that's for me, yeah. I mean, there is something about being in a space that, you know, was inhabited for a long time by enslaved people and their descendants.
The park also includes places where slaves were terrorized.
Yes, I just want to point out this whipping post, which has some personal significance to me. So this is a whipping post from the county I grew up in, and it was in the town square, and it was this ominous structure that intimidated the entire black population, because this is where people would be brought. They'd be chained to these hooks, and they would be lashed or whipped or beaten.
This is an actual one?
This is an actual one, yeah. It's from Sussex County. It's from Georgetown, Delaware. And it wasn't removed from the square until 2020.
So they would be shackled?
Yes. You can see the metal points here.
Along the trail, visitors are reminded this human trafficking was not just a stain on the South.
North Carolina, Maryland, New
Yes.
Jersey. Its tentacles reach north.
No, it begins in the north. It begins in New England.
Also posted here, laws that codified brutality against slaves.
Homicide shall be deemed excusable when committed by accident or misfortune in lawfully correcting a slave.
Yes.
License to kill.
That's right. That's right. And all of these laws really created an order that empowered people to use violence to maintain slavery. For better security of all such persons that shall endeavor to take any runaway or shall examine any slave for his ticket passing to and from his master's plantation, it is hereby declared lawful for any white person to beat, maim, or assault, and if such Negro or slave cannot otherwise be taken, to kill him. Who shall refuse to show his ticket, or by running away or resistance shall endeavor to avoid being apprehended or taken. And this is what we mean when we codify a kind of a racial hierarchy.
This is just stunning.
And I think, I really wanted people to see the laws. We try in this space, in all of our spaces, to use first-person narrative, because we don't want someone to think, oh, you're making that up or you're interpreting that. Some of them are just bizarre. There are laws that prohibit black people from owning dogs. There are laws that prohibit people from having any kind of weapon. There are these really graphic things we did. Be it further enacted by authority of aforesaid, in case such Negro or slave shall run away a second time, he or she, so offending, shall be branded with the letter R on the right cheek. And in case such Negro or slave shall run away the third time, he or she shall be severely whipped, not exceeding 40 lashes. You'll see that a lot of these laws were in the South, and that was why there was so much fear of being sold to the South in the 19th century.
Did this open the door in many ways for lynching?
Oh, absolutely.
The Monument Park joins two other legacy sites. The National Memorial for Peace and Justice lays bare the raw history of lynching in America. And the recently opened Legacy Museum, which documents the history and impact of the Atlantic slave trade.
It seems like a direct repudiation of some of the things, the movements we've heard over the last couple of years to not teach some of this history, critical race theory.
For me, it's been a lifelong ambition to just kind of get people to reckon with the truth. We can't get there if we don't talk honestly about this history.
Would America look different if America had a deeper understanding of what you're showing here?
Absolutely. And I think if we have the courage to contend with this, we can imagine America being different in a generation or two. Because I think that, despite all of my achievements, despite your achievements, despite all of the extraordinary things that so many people have done, there's still a presumption of dangerousness and guilt that gets assigned to black and brown people. And we read about it all the time, we see it all the time. Police violence is a tragic manifestation of it. And I want to get to the point where the children of my children, the grandchildren of my children, are free of that presumption. But that means we have to address the problems. We have to address the challenges. What we know about human evolution is that you have to talk about the problem.
The centerpiece of the sculpture park, this wall embossed with 122,000 surnames that were adopted by newly emancipated slaves during the 1870 census.
It's a really remarkable moment in American history of expressing freedom and identity, because prior to the 1870 census, enslaved people could only be numbers in the census or first name. And these are the names that represent the 4 million people who were emancipated, recorded in 1870. And, we wanted to see them in a place of honor, see them on a wall.
Scanning the names.
You know what I'm doing now?
Of course.
I find what I'm looking for, the name Houston.
Houston is my fraternal grandmother's family.
And then I come across Holt.
Here we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Marshall Holt.
Yes.
Now, that name was picked for some reason.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't know why.
No, and what's interesting is a lot of the names were names that people heard.
But yes, I sit there and I look at that and I think of who that name represents.
Yeah.
What they went through.
Yeah.
Could they ever imagine me?
Yeah, that's the thing that's powerful.
Standing here.
Yeah.
The sense I get is that you want this to be what I just went through, a sense of discovery.
Yeah.
At every turn.
Yeah.
And it has felt like that to me.
Yeah. And it's also a way of creating redemption for people who were denied their full humanity and their full dignity. Because when we come and honor them and celebrate them and put them up on a giant wall in a place like Alabama, which was the site of so much brutality and violence and enslavement, I think we do something to their memory that needs to be done.
The urge is to grieve for them. Brian Stevenson wants us to honor them. He quotes from the inscription at the base of the wall.
And during the horrors and pain of slavery, you still found the capacity to love, to dream, to nurture new life, and to triumph. We honor your strength. We honor your perseverance in the midst of sorrow. We honor your struggle for freedom. Your children love you.
And the line that jumps out at me, the country you built must honor you.
Yeah.
And that's what this monument hopes to do.
Absolutely.
Nightly Films is sponsored by Pfizer.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.